Guys, I just got one question. What is going on with immersion learning recently? Like when I started, in the days of like earlier kind of age at, and there was like, I won't name him because I don't know, if I upset him, I don't want to get this video taken down, but there's the one bloke, kind of like, promoting all the immersion learning. And back in the day, and even now, I really like the guy. So please, if you're watching this, mate, don't be upset with me. I like you. And like, back in the day, his videos were like super good. It got me into immersion learning, and like it really promoted a culture of like working hard and like a realistic outlook on what it takes to become good at Japanese, and how, you actually need to put in extreme amounts of effort to get good at anything in life, but in particular Japanese, right? And recently, I've been noticing there's a huge influx of all these people that have come along with I won't mention the company's name, but the bird symbol, that plate thing. Those guys, I don't know, maybe I can say it, but I'm scared. I don't want this shit getting taken down. But all the new guys, right? All of them. What is going on over there with all those guys? Like, you look on their Discord, and all they're talking about is like, oh, don't early output, don't speak too early. And not only that, it's like, oh, when you say this word, where should your tongue be? Do you put your tongue on the top of your mouth or the bottom of your mouth? And they sit there for hours like fucking idiots talking about, oh, no, you're dumb cunt. You don't put your tongue there, you put it here, and you got to use this part of your voice or something like that. You sit there, they're talking about all this stupid stuff. They're sitting there for hours talking about Anki settings and all this. And not only that, they're also like looking at people like me or other people who've like gotten good at Japanese in like an actual reasonable amount of time, not like 10 years, like, 6 months, a year, 2 years or something. They're like, that's impossible. These guys, they're full of shit. They're just lying to you. So it's like, bruh, like, just because you're a lazy cunt and you don't want to put in any time to learn a language and you want to sit there online talking about how you use your Anki settings and how like, oh, this is the best way to learn kanji. Just because you want to do that, it doesn't mean there aren't other people out there actually putting time in and wanting to get good. Like, I don't get it. Like, there's just like a huge amount of people now who think you can just like put in no time and get good at it somehow. Like all these new guys, all the, on this new platform that's coming out. And I feel like with the introduction of this new platform, it's kind of moved away from more hardcore learners willing to put in, hours every single day to get good at it. And it's gone more towards the general language learning sort of community. And for anyone who knows anything about sort of these polyglots and all the like general language learning community, they're a bunch of like fucking soy boy, like virgin fucking nerds, like geeks, bro. Like, honestly, like, can you be more of a geek than just to sit around and talk about where you put your tongue in your mouth when you speak? And not only that, they're all sitting there like talking about, oh, I just watch anime to get good at Japanese. That's like what I do. That's like their secret to get good at Japanese, right? And then you come and say, oh, maybe, right. It could be a good idea to move away from your little like 15-year-old girl anime characters talking and go and look at like, I don't know, like the news or like, I don't know, just normal people talking, like a podcast or something. And then people get so upset, especially these newer guys in this like new sort of community talking about like, oh no, like you just can use anime. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't make fun of what other people like. Don't make fun of my anime. And it's like, bro, like it's not about what you like and all this. It's like, if you're talking about how to get good at something, you have to, actually like think about it and say, okay, maybe I don't want to speak like a 14-year-old cartoon character, like little schoolgirl, and I want to actually speak like a normal person my age. Maybe it'd be a good idea to go watch something fucking normal and not sit there like a little version in your room watching anime all day and thinking that's how you get good at anything in life. I don't know. It just annoys me because like more and more, right? Like normally I wouldn't really care, people do their own shit, whatever. But like more and more, I see these people like commenting on like what I'm doing and like the things I say, and they say, oh, that's impossible. You're full of shit. That's just can't be true. And it's like, okay, if you want to completely discredit me and like everything that I've done, maybe you should just like, take a look at yourself in your own life and see why you're feeling like that. Like, I'm not saying you're jealous. Maybe you are jealous. Maybe you're like sitting there and you've just passed the N5 after 2 years and you're like, he can't pass the N1 in 9 months. That's impossible. He's just lying, or like he's never even done the test or something like that, because they want to, make themselves feel better about the fact that they're, shit after putting in years of effort. But, it's years of effort, right? It's not really a lot of effort. They're probably studying, 1-2 hours every like 2 weeks or something, like 20 minutes a day or something stupid like that, taking Japanese classes. It'd be like, right, like for those of you who know me and like aren't new to me from this video and have seen my other videos and stuff, you'll know like I'm an MMA fighter, right? Just amateur for now, but I'm an MMA fighter. Imagine, right? I go to my coach. I go, so, okay, one day I want to be a pro fighter. I want to be, one of the top in Australia, maybe even get to the UFC. But, we need balance. Like, I want to be really good at something, but I need balance. You've got to be realistic. So I'm going to come in, maybe train 1 or 2 hours a week, maybe like 3 times a week for an hour each. And then I can get there, right? And then when he says to me, that's ridiculous. You need to, be training, say, 3 hours a day, or like putting in 2 sessions a day to really get to that level. That'd be like me reacting saying, that's a lie. All these other people, they're just super talented who got there. They didn't put any of the work. I can't do it because I've got no talent. They're just super talented. That's why I can't do it. It's like you're just discrediting other people because you're too much of a lazy cunt to put in your own effort to get good at anything. It's like, if you want to come at me and say, oh, no, you're lying, you didn't do this, whatever, maybe check yourself first and see what you're doing. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I'm only going to immerse for 20 minutes today and then I'm going to go sit and fucking watch, like, I don't know, Keeping Up with the Kardashians for 4 hours or something. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, all these guys, they're sitting there like in a little like circle jerk talking about how, oh, this is how I do my SRS. Can you read this kanji and all this? And I don't know, maybe this is just like a way to distract themselves from not actually interacting with the language, talking to people, and realizing that they're shit because they don't want to realize that. So they just distract themselves and talk about useless stuff, about pitch accent, all that. Like, pitch accent's great, yeah. Like, that's important, right? But like, you're taking immersion learning and taking all that it was and all that made it great. Age Out, you look at like Cats and all those guys, and they're putting in huge amounts of effort, getting great results. You're taking all that foundational stuff they've gotten, applying it a little bit, say, oh yeah, I'm an immersion learner. You learn with immersion. But not only do you learn with immersion, when it comes to pitch accent or pronunciation or anything like that, all of a sudden you throw all the immersion out. You're like, I'm not going to listen and talk with people and like all that to get this. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit here and read a fucking textbook about where to stick my tongue in my mouth to speak better. Get a grip, mate. It's so crazy. I don't get it. Like, I wouldn't normally be this annoyed by it. But like I said, people keep coming at me and saying all this stuff, like discrediting what I've done, what I say, and like what other people have done. And it's just kind of like getting to me. And so I just think we need to make immersion learning great again. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of all this pussy shit of all these people saying, balance and all that, and go back to saying, okay, you've got a big goal, right? You want to immerse and get good at a language. You want to get really good at Japanese, right? That's your big goal. How are you going to approach that? Are you going to study 20 minutes, every day and get there? Like, as if that's going to let you achieve anything. You're learning a new language, right? Like, you need to like really look and see how big of a thing that is. You're not just, learning some words and putting it together. Like, imagine your brain's like an operating system. I think someone else said this back in the day, but imagine English. English is your brain's operating system, right? Everything you think about is in English. Everything you do day to day is in English, or maybe another language if you're from somewhere else. But I mean, if you're watching this video, it means you probably speak English. But so it'll be in English or some other language. And to learn another language, you need to download a whole new operating system pretty much into your brain. It's not just like, we're not just going to like a shop and saying, like, oh, can I have this for $5? How much is this? It's not like a few phrases. You're trying to get good at a language to the degree of that you can be comparable to other native speakers who grew up in that language. To do that, it's not some small task. It's a huge thing. And because it's a huge thing, you've got to put in huge amounts of effort and huge amounts of hours. So when I say, okay, you can do this in a year or 2 years, but you're going to have to like seriously be listening to it for at least 4 or 5 hours a day. Like, if you really want to get really good in a reasonable amount of time, like, that's how long it's going to take. That's how long you got to immerse every day and how much effort you got to put into it. And then people come, they're like, that's not realistic. It's like, okay, well, your goal isn't realistic then. Maybe reassess yourself, look at the goals you have, and realize that's just ridiculous. That's like me saying, okay, well, I'm 20 now. Do you know what? I want to be in the NBA. I'm 5'7". I've never played basketball, but I want to be in the NBA. But I only want to train 2 hours a week for it. For one, the goal is just ridiculous. And the steps to get there are even more ridiculous. Like, do you realize how ridiculous it is what you guys are saying? It's like, I want to be fluent and perfect in Japanese native level, but I'm going to sit with my other mates who are also like learning the same language and also shit and talk about pitch accent and where to put my tongue when I speak. Like, bro, how about you go out of your room and fucking talk to a Japanese person first? Maybe that will help you, But yeah, I'm not going to really go fully in depth into like what I think you need to do to learn a language because I've already done that in the past. If you're interested, I got like a masterclass series where I explain all of my thoughts in these fucking long videos about like what I think about immersion, output, and all these things. But in general, to summarize it, I think you should be listening a lot every day, multiple hours a day, and also making a huge effort to talk to people, even from the start, because people say, oh, you're going to mess up your accent if you talk. It's just ridiculous. It's just a coping mechanism to cope with the fact that you're shit. Like, you're going to have to be shit at the start and get better by getting, immersing and actively trying to output and improve. Like, not necessarily from day one, like where you don't know anything, but you get to a certain level where you can output, you just don't because it's not comfortable, and you just cope with it by saying, oh, I don't want to early output and ruin my accent, so I'm going to sit with me mates in a Discord server and talk about pitch accent and Anki settings for 4 hours a day. Like, if you've got time to be doing that, you've got time to be talking to people or immersing or doing anything. But anyway, yeah, that's in general what I kind of wanted to get out. I'm just sick of all these like new age immersion people taking what was once a great thing and they had some sort of like a hardcore mindset behind it and turning it into some pussy shit where everyone just sits around and cries together about how they suck. Like, what kind of a community is that, honestly? But anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this, and just kind of vent a little bit and say, all my thoughts towards that. If you're interested in actually getting good at Japanese and getting rid of that dumb mindset of like what you've been doing up until now, for any of you people who have come from that server or that community and seeing this now, if you want to actually get decent and stop being a little bitch, maybe you should watch my other videos that I've got on how to learn Japanese. Check out my masterclass series and some other stuff I've got on my channel. Also, jump in my Discord. The Discord's probably the best place if you really want to interact with my community and, get better at Japanese without lowering your test levels below like a 50-year-old grandma. Well, not 50-year-old grandma, like an 80-year-old grandma. 50 is a bit too young, but yeah. So if you're interested in actually getting decent, jump in the Discord or, just watch my other videos, subscribe, and yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I think that's all I really want to say for this. And also, I might be making some merch soon, so let me know if you want any sort of merch. I've got this sick t-shirt here. If you want to cop this one, let me know in the comments, yeah? Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks.